On paper, this is a transfer that sort of makes sense. A potential swap deal, dramatic swap deal, shock swap deal, call it what you want, between Victor Osimhen and Marcus Rashford. Victor Osimhen out of favour at Napoli. He's on loan at Galatasaray at the moment. Antonio Conte doesn't want him at Napoli. Marcus Rashford, we know his situation at Manchester United as well. I've spoken about it a lot. So on paper, it would make sense for the two of them just to do a swap. It's obviously not as easy to just do that. But Marcus Rashford has rejected bids from Saudi Arabia because he wants to win back his England place. So a move to another big European league, Serie A, obviously, would give him the chance to do that and a platform to do that. And Antonio Conte is keen on Marcus Rashford. So we'll see whether that might be something that happens. But I think you're going to get a lot of this over the course of January, these sort of wild fantasy sort of transfer deals, which they might be able to pull off, but they might not. But on paper,
very rare,
very hard to do. But, you know, who knows? We'll see. We'll watch this space.
Well, Chelsea are still pushing to sign the Napoli striker Victor Osimhen, and they are continuing talks with the striker's representatives. We understand that there is a delegation from Chelsea in Naples as we speak, talking to Victor Osimhen's representatives. Now, it remains a difficult deal to do, as Carve was mentioning, because of Chelsea's wage structure and, of course, Osimhen's demands. But the club-to-club negotiations are thought to be more straightforward to do than the personal terms. That usually isn't the case, but such are Osimhen's wages since he renewed that contract and inserted that release clause. And in return, he's being paid close to 11 million euros net per year. So we're looking in excess of £200,000 a week, which Chelsea simply won't want to match. However, Napoli's preference at the moment is to do a permanent deal, or at least to do a loan with an obligation. Now, I'm told that Chelsea are still exploring a permanent deal. So when I heard that, I was like, how can this happen? Because if the personal terms are a problem, how are they going to afford a transfer fee as well? But sometimes you can work out these transfer fees with more favourable payment terms. Now, this is all against the backdrop of what happened overnight and this morning, because the Saudi Pro League club, Al Ahly, they'd agreed the deal with Napoli. 80 million euros would go to Napoli, 40 million euros per year for 4 years would go to Victor Osimhen net. Just think about that for a minute. There's incredible wages that he would have been getting. However, we're told that Al Ahly are now understood to be unhappy with Napoli because they've changed the goalposts a little bit. Once they'd agreed that whole deal, Napoli said, actually, we want a little bit more money. Al Ahly are saying, no thanks. We've given you this deal. We think it's a perfectly good deal. We were under the assumption that you'd agreed that deal. That's our offer. You can take it or you can leave it. So they're standing firm on that. Osimhen, meanwhile, though, wanted to wait. You remember, we've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, until the end of the European deadline, because he thought, is there going to be a European club, maybe Chelsea, maybe Paris Saint-Germain, that are going to come in and then give me an option to think about? Because he doesn't necessarily have to say yes to Saudi Arabia just now. However, with Chelsea now in the mix, can they make an offer that is going to satisfy Napoli, that is going to satisfy Victor Osimhen as well? It is very difficult to do, but the fact that this delegation remains out there in Naples means that there is a deal to be done. If it doesn't get done, what happens then? Can Victor Osimhen still go to Al Ahly? That looks difficult.